What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Project Garage. It has been quite a while since I actually made a video on the Genesis. So today what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to show you guys what I've done to the car that hasn't been posted on YouTube. So let's get right into it. Alright, so you guys are going to have to excuse the wind noise. It is a little bit windy today. I'm going to give you guys a little quick walk around first before I start talking about all the stuff I've done that you guys haven't seen. You guys have probably seen, if you watched my videos, you know that the car is purple now. It was red before and then we did it purple. Honestly, I love the purple a lot better. I'm going to give you guys a quick little walk around. And then I'll start talking about the modifications that I haven't showed on YouTube. All right, so I'm going to start with the most recent modification that I got. If you really want to call it a modification, but it is my new wheels. These are 5 Ziegen Sport engine wheels. They are staggered and they are chrome. The fronts are in 19 by 8.5 plus 45. Plus 35. And the rears are a 19 by 9.5 plus 45. And the rear, I really love the rear dish on the wheels. Honestly, these make the car stand out a lot more, especially with the purple. And they are wrapped in Nexen and Farah SU1 summer tires. I love these tires. They are much better than any other tires I've had. I've had a Firestone Indy 500s. I've had a couple Bridgestones before. Honestly, I love the performance of these a lot better than most. The Bridgestones were all seasons, I'll give it that. But the Nexen summer is much better than Firestone Indy 500s. I will never buy Indy 500s again. You guys can fight me in the comments below. These Nexens are much superior. The setup I'm running here is a 255 35 19 and 225 40 19. So it's pretty much like a BMW or Mercedes stagger. Originally, when I had my 18 5 Ziegens on this, I was running a 275 35 and a 255 35. That was because I used to track the car, so I wanted a more aggressive setup, more grip in the rear. So right now, why I have the 255s and the 225s is I'm not tracking this car anymore, so I'm just going for a nice street look to it, a little bit of a stance look. So that's why I'm not going to be running any wider tires, anything wider than I need to. God damn, a lot of traffic coming through now. And honestly, the rears are a little bit stretched, but it's not too bad. But yeah, those are the wheels. And if you guys don't know this brand, 5 Ziegen, they used to be really popular. They don't exist anymore. They used to exist in like the early 2000s. I made a video on my Instagram about it, actually. So basically, these are discontinued. They haven't made these since about 2012, so these are super rare. These are actually dated 2009 and 2011. So the fronts are 2009, the rears are 2011. They're super rare, and they were really hard to find. And if you do find them, they are pretty pricey. I paid about $1,800 Canadian for these. I mean, that's on the higher side of rims, almost $2,000 for rims. I know a lot of guys like to run like Works and all these other stance brands, Leon Hardit, whatever it's called. They like to run all those, but I like to be more original. Run some 5 Ziegens on this, and 5 Ziegen doesn't exist anymore. It's cool to see it on a car that wasn't really intended to have these wheels on it. I've seen a few Mitsubishi 3000 GTs with these, but never a Genesis Coupe, and I'm probably the first to actually ever throw 5 Ziegen sport engines on a Genesis Coupe. All right, moving to the rear of the car. Not really a modification, but I did a rear bumper cut. So everything is chopped on the back. Basically, this used to have a plastic trim piece, not really a trim piece, but it's molded to the bumper. And that's where like the exhaust tips would sit and whatnot. So I've cut that completely out. Honestly, I like this look a lot more. It gives it more of a race car look. Even though it's not a race car. But the only reason why I wanted to do this is because you need to do this when you run a bash bar, and I'm going to be getting a rear bash bar with a jack point, so I could easily jack it up a lot easier instead of going from the differential. That's what I used to do, to jack it up from the diff, because it's too low to get the low pro jack even under the side skirts there. So not really a modification, but love the way this looks. I had to make custom plate brackets. Yes, they have self-tappers put into them, but I got these little L brackets that sit like this from Home Depot, and just threaded some 10 mil bolts into the back, and that's how my plate is held on. And then we obviously got the Sparco toe strap that has seen some road grime. I've actually had to use that quite a bit of times at the track when I was drifting, because I don't know how to drift properly with this car. And this strap holds pretty nicely. It's actually attached to the frame, so actually did its job. So it's a nice Sparco tow hook. It was cheap, like 40 bucks anyway. You might have noticed that my spoiler is gone. If you follow my car, follow me, know who I am. I used to have a spoiler on this. The reason I took it off is I was actually going to sell the car. So I took a lot of stuff off. I actually used to have a window spoiler too, an HIC window spoiler and a carbon fiber duckbill. I took a lot of stuff off before I put the car for sale. And then I sold all that stuff. So now I got to repurchase everything because the car is not for sale anymore. So I got to get a new spoiler. That's going to be coming pretty soon. I'm not sure which style I want to go with yet. That's why I don't have a spoiler yet. I do want to get the window visor back on here. Just for some reason, every place I'm calling says out of stock in like 3 weeks to get. Not a big deal, but yeah, no spoiler, no roof spoiler. Kind of makes the back look a little bit weird, but honestly, I'm not going to lie. Kind of goes hard with no spoiler. If anything, I might also just get an OEM spoiler because I love the look of the OEM spoiler with the bumper cut. So we'll see whatever option I go with. I'll show you guys. All right, not a lot going on in the front here. I've never posted a video on this, but this is a M&S America front grille. It has some fitment issues, not because of the grille itself, because this is an aftermarket bumper. It fits okay. I have to use a double-sided tape and silicone to hold it in. Not a big deal. It just keeps popping off sometimes, and just down here is the only weird part. It doesn't want to stay in properly. With the original bumper, it actually stayed on normally, but with this bumper, it doesn't want to, because this bumper is like the third time it's being replaced. But yeah, this is a nice grille. It comes like painted like satin black. This is actually wrapped. Obviously the wrap is a little bit faded now. It's actually like a metallic. You can't really tell, but this is wrapped like a metallic black. Just wanted to make it look a little bit nicer. Other than the satin gray makes it look a little bit cheaper. And then back here I got the 2 hella horns and the KS front lip, which actually I do want to color match to the purple. It'll make it look a lot better, like complete the front end. But that's really it for the front end. I don't really have anything else done to it. All right, moving on to the interior. I got actually a few things I want to show you guys that I haven't showed you guys before. First thing is these door cards that I did myself. So this is some material that I found at Fabricland. Pretty simple install. Just honestly, you just got to pull the door card off. There's some rivets on the back. You got to drill them out, and then this plastic piece pops off, and then you could just put whatever fabric you want over top of the felt that's in the back. Just glues on with spray adhesive, and it turns out pretty nice. This is the one I have here. It's like this purple and pink with white. Matches the car. So that's why I got it, obviously. And it makes the interior look a little bit nicer just compared to the plain black. Now, if you have a higher trim level Genesis, you might have the brown trim, like or the peanut butter trim, which I love. A lot of people don't like that interior. I love the brown seats in the Genesis. They look very good, especially with the most of the colors, red, black, white. It looks really good. Yeah, door cards turned out nice. One of my favorite interior mods I've done. This is just wrapped silver. I didn't have any black, but it's wrapped because you can see underneath the chrome, the plating or whatever is peeling off, which is a common problem, as you can see, especially there on the door card. This is what I'm talking about, on the door handle, sorry. It's all starting to peel off, so I'm going to get a new door handle because this looks hideous, and the same thing is happening here. So likely these are going to end up being carbon fiber. I'm going to get them from a company that makes them in carbon, as well as these. These are a problem too. They come loose, as you can tell. One tab is already broken, and now I got to pop this back in. There we go. Next thing I want to talk about, energy prismas. These came out of the white parts car that I had that my engine came from. So if you guys remember or if you watched the video, these were in the white parts car. And I'm not the biggest fan of NRG, but they were free. Well, not free, but obviously they came with the parts car, so I count them as free. So put them in here, matches nicely with the interior, especially with the door cards. Now they are a little bit more faded. They used to be a darker purple like this. They are more of like a off purple now, which is they've seen some use before, so that's okay. You can still tell that they're purple. They look really nice in the car. They're comfortable for about like 30 minutes of driving, and if you're driving more than an hour, like my back is just like destroyed. I have back problems, so I can't complain too much. But yeah, energy prismas, they are sitting on Sparco bases. Those were like the most expensive part. The Sparco bases were like $400 each. And over here, I have race equip harnesses that I don't use anymore. I used to use them when I go to the track. And this is a, I believe it's, let me see here, Blocks Racing. Yeah, it's a Blocks Racing harness bar that's actually meant for the Genesis Coupe. Direct fit, super easy install. Just mounts down there into the original seatbelt position there. And actually, I have it set up really weird here because that bolt actually stripped. So I had to rethread it. And then my seatbelt wouldn't go into that bolt for some reason. So the seatbelt's held down with the base for the seat base, which is not the correct way of doing it. I'll fix it properly eventually, but it doesn't bother me because the seatbelt still works. Next thing, carbon fiber. Let me sit down here. Carbon fiber, forged carbon fiber steering wheel. I actually got this off of Facebook Marketplace. Stupid cheap. I paid like $300 for this, and it's forged carbon. The only problem with it is it has a crack here going along the whole thing. Doesn't even bother me one bit. You can't even notice it from afar. Only when you're sitting here you can notice it. I don't care. The steering wheel feels so much better sitting in the car compared to the stock leather steering wheel. Like, this is a little bit more beefier. It's got it's perforated leather here. This is a wrap here just to make it look almost like the forged carbon. It looks all right, not too bad. It would be cool if I could get the steering wheel wrapped in some suede or something, or the airbag wrapped in a suede or some nicer material. Right now I'm not complaining too much. This is one of the best modifications to the interior I've done on this car. The other thing is not really important, but I have a Blocks Racing mirror. I run these big mirrors in all my cars. Just gives you better blind spot views, because in this car, if I'm sitting where I normally sit, if I turn my head to check my blind spot, it's hardly there. So that's why I have this mirror. Just have a look up and check your blind spots, because drivers in Ontario are extremely stupid. So yeah, I do check my blind spots. That's pretty much it for the interior. Nothing else going on. This is just painted. I'm gonna change this because I hate the way this looks. Mishimoto shift knob, carbon fiber. It was like $100. Not too bad. And then I do have a unique performance short shifter in here. Honestly, it's all right. Not the best short shifter. I do want to get an IRP, I believe they're called. An IRP short shifter, but they're like ridiculously expensive. So I'm going to see if a used one comes up and I'll get one of those. Then the only other thing I have in here is really the Turbo Smart boost gauge, which I did do a installation video of how to make this actual vent pod here to make a boost gauge fit here and how to wire it and everything like that. It is actually wired in here. You can't really see, but there's a tap in there that's tapped into one of the fuses so it can light up and work properly. Yeah, that's really it for the interior. I just have these dead and gone floor mats that are pretty worn. I have my WeatherTechs that I normally run in here, just because the WeatherTechs keep the carpet nice and clean. All right, going underneath the hood. Nothing fancy, just a crappy Hyundai 2-liter engine. Obviously, if you guys have seen, this is the second engine. And I've recently noticed either the valve cover is leaking or the front timing cover is leaking, because it's all covered in oil. So I have to redo some seal or something, which I'm really not satisfied with. I don't want to do that again because I got to pull the front clip off. Something's leaking there too. I guess the valve cover gasket is leaking. I know why, because I reused the valve cover gasket. It was new, so, but now I know not to reuse valve cover gaskets. Anyway, yeah, engine has been changed. I don't even remember how much mileage was on this. Apparently it was like about 10,000 kilometers less than what my body had at the time. The body's now at like 142 or something, maybe 143. Maybe 147. I don't even know. I don't even pay attention to the mileage on this car anymore. As soon as it went past 100,000, I didn't even bother looking. That's kilometers, by the way. I'll put that in miles. Yeah, mods here, nothing crazy. Engine, short ram intake, ISR downpipe. These are garbage. I hate these. They suck. ISR's quality on their welds is horrible. I've had it snap 3 times. Actually, no, sorry, 2 times. Right on the gooch down there. So it snapped, and I had to get a second one, and ISR couldn't warranty it because it's a discontinued part, so I had to buy one from somewhere else. Anyway, I probably won't be running ISR in any of my cars anymore, even though half of my exhaust is ISR, because it's like the only cheap option for this car. The only other thing I got going on here is the Bees Racing strut bar. Actually made a huge difference running this strut bar. You could actually feel like the front end feel a little bit tighter, taking harder corners, like more hairpin corners. You can feel the suspension in the front, you know, doing its proper job by keeping the body stiff. So this harness bar with the strut bar was a very good upgrade. Turbo X's blow-off valve, it's all right. It makes some whooshy noises. I might get an HKS, I might not. Again, I don't really want to spend so much money on this car. I'll get into that a little bit later. Other than the hood, nothing else. HKS one-step colder spark plugs, and obviously I ran Liqui Moly Gen 5 W40 to prevent further rod bearing failure, even though it's prone to happen again. Like I said, nothing too much going on underneath the hood other than that oil leak that I need to address. Maybe we'll make a video on fixing that, maybe not, we'll see. That's about it for the engine bay compartment. All right, I'm gonna talk about the exhaust right now. It's nothing too crazy. It is like a custom setup. It's like half a custom setup. So in the rear, the muffler is a Vibrant TPV muffler. It's a 3-inch muffler to a 4-inch or 4.5-inch tip, and it's 3-inch all the way back from like the turbo back. I do still have a secondary cat, which is the OEM cat, just with different flanges adapted to it, and the mid pipe. I do have a Vibrant Ultra Quiet resonator, which quiet the car down a lot, which I prefer because, you know, police in Ontario are kind of very strict on modifications. So I shouldn't be saying the modifications on my car. But next thing I'm going to talk about, the suspension. Not a lot done to it. The only thing is just coilovers. They are Godspeed Mono SS coilovers. They're okay for the price. They're not too bad. It lowers the car quite a bit. They're not even maxed out yet, but you can see my suspension is a little bit weird right now. I have like a reversed rake. My rear is a lot lower than my front. I do need to fix some suspension stuff before I do that. I do have the lower control arms that I need to readjust properly. They are camber arms. I did make a video on that. I can't remember if I showed you guys the front or not, but front needs to be adjusted. Rear has a lot of camber, front doesn't, so we need to either raise the rear or lower the front. I think I'm going to raise the rear because the roads here in Ontario are horrible. So I'm most likely going to raise the rear and give it a little bit less camber and make it a little bit more flush, look like the front, because I still want to make this car, you know, decently drivable to the point where like I'm not avoiding like every single pothole, even though, you know, you can't avoid it because these roads are horrible. So I'm just going to raise the rear, make it look a little bit nicer, and then the suspension is going to be set up nice. Honestly, the car handles really well, even with like these coilovers that are not like the greatest. A lot of people run like BCs, Fortune Autos, all that stuff. I'm cheap. I'm a cheap guy. That's why I drive a Hyundai, which is not really a good thing because the motors keep blowing. But so these were cheap coilovers, $900. I'm not complaining. They do their job. At least they're not max speeding rods like we did on the Corolla. I will probably never put Chinese coilovers on this car, especially because how stiff the car actually is. I'm afraid something will definitely snap. I showed you guys the brake caliper upgrade. That was in a video. If you guys watched that, if you haven't watched it, go watch it because it's a very good upgrade for a Genesis Coupe. These are Genesis sedan 4-piston calipers. They do come, I don't think they come on the 3/8. I think they only come on the 5 liters. I might be mistaken. I think they might come on the 3/8 on the higher trim 3/8. But these are Genesis sedan calipers from 2009 to 2014, I believe, because the 15s I think have a different caliper type. And these also are Genesis sedan brake rotors. Everything is pretty much directly bolt on, like the center bore, everything, bolt pattern, obviously all bolt-on caliper directly bolts on to the original spindle. The only thing you have to change is the brake line. You can hardly see it back there, but there is, I'm gonna try to zoom in here and focus. There is a Stop Tech steel braided line that you have to change, or you can either run a different, like an OEM line. You have to make a modification to it. Everything's explained in the video, but you do have to change the brake lines. I just went with the Stop Tech ones initially because I was going to track the car. Not anymore, but it's already on there, so I'm not changing nothing. It looks good, honestly. The brakes, compared to the 1-piston, these perform so much better. Like, stopping power is amazing, and especially I got semi-metallic brake pads on here. The car stops on a dime. Like, you slam on the brakes, you're gonna break your neck. One last thing, Aero Blitz side skirts. I don't know if they even make these anymore, but I got these used off of a buddy. They look good. They're all right, not too bad. Except the only problem is I was coming off of an alignment rack at my work, and I kind of cracked it here, so it's kind of held on very janky back here. It's cracked right there. These are like aluminum, but they also are like I don't know what kind of material they're made of. It is aluminum, but then there's some coating over top of it. So they bend very easy if you break them. This folded back and like bent. Doesn't look pretty. I'm probably gonna get new side skirts. These are very old and they're already faded and worn. Probably gonna get new side skirts anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Happy to show you guys my Genesis Coupe. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to ask any questions down in the comments or message me on Instagram. My Instagram is late for work. I'll put it down in the description below. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about the car, anything about modifications, I'm pretty familiar with this chassis, so you know I've torn it apart a good amount of times. Yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.